Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I've got an unpromising rack with U and V. B also goes badly with that. And the rest of the rack isn't great. But is it bad enough to change? I don't think so. I do have Venin on my rack, leaving BU. Not a great rack lead, but the score for Venom should mean that that is better than changing. So what else do I have? I'd quite like to split up the duplicate N. A single N is a bingo-y tile, but double N most certainly isn't, particularly in the absence of a G for an ing ending. Now, Venin does play in column 7, preserving my E, which is quite nice. What else do I have? I've got the un prefix. So can I reach any of these double word squares? What about the O? No, not seeing anything there. W? Wow, do I have unwive? I do, but it doesn't get doubled, so that's not good enough. Avenue would need 2 E's. So what about this? Uneven keeping B and I. How dangerous is this triple letter square? Well, it's only the Z of the big tiles which can go there. And the word would need to end in Z, so it's not massively dangerous. Column 8, not massively dangerous either. Yeah, I am minded to go with this. Well, this looks a lot closer to a bingo, but 3 big tiles means I almost certainly don't have one. I would have 4 cabin through O and E. Unlikely to happen. So what I'm looking to do is sort out the high scoring letters and play off at least 2 of them. None of my scoring tiles go to the right of the U, but that was part of the attraction of playing uneven. There's only a limited number of scoring tiles which can go there. H and M come to mind. Now, I do have Fab in row G. C is certainly the most bingo-y of B, C and F. I would put C in the category of bingo-y tiles and desirable to have on your rack, whereas B and F definitely non-bingo-y. Now, opponents changed only 11 points. Q takes an H and an F. Fab has been left alone. Just wondering about playing on this triple letter square. My B and F can go there. Is there a way of playing off 2 scoring tiles? I think my N would need to go to the left of the U. So I do have NAB and NIB, keeping C and F. I have Farsin on my rack. Nowhere for that. So I have Fern. Let me see what this scores. That's 27. Now, I do have something quite nice. Very nice. What about this? Confab for 34 points, playing off all of my big tiles. That's 34. What would Fab have scored? 30. So this is 4 more points. Do C and N help IR by 4 points? I don't think so. I think these moves are pretty close, but Confab definitely a fancier play. I'm going with this. And certainly turning over more tiles did have its attraction in terms of drawing blanks and S's. Now, pretty good. I have notarial and rational through the A. Do I have an alternative bingo? An opponent may be drawn to playing to the left of confab, and nothing goes in front of FE, which would leave rational alone. But suppose my column 3 bingos are blocked. Do I have a double-double through the N of uneven? Oh, wow, fantastic bingo by opponent, 64 points. That has that scuppered both of my bingos? It hasn't, because I still have rational through this A, but that's slightly dangerous. It takes an E and an S and stops one square short of row O. Deionize does take an R, so is there a 7 with this rack? One has not come to mind, but D, R and S go to the right of deionize. So if I have a 7-letter bingo, which plays, that's likely to be my best option. Very high probability, if it exists. So does it begin with A, I, L, N, O, R, T? I'm not seeing it. Wow. So I have rational, which does get doubled. Anything through the E, like Tayloron, doesn't get doubled. What about a play through the B? Rationale is attractive because, having mentioned it takes an E and an S, there's a super hot spot to the right of deionize, so it's quite a good idea to introduce a second super hot spot onto the board. So I will certainly have first dibs at one, and rational is super hot. It introduces a Q and X spot plus row O. So let's see what happens. And I do not draw particularly well, just the solitary vowel. I do have a D for going on the end of deionize, but I don't think I can do much better than deaf in that spot. And, well, I can't really play in row O, although I've got the E and S for rational. What can I do? Just something like FES with an awful rack leave. What about this triple letter square? Not seeing anything, or not seeing anything great. What about this triple letter square underneath the O of deionize? So I can play Fed in that spot, hanging on to my E and scoring about 30 points. Opponent may end up using both of the hotspots I've created. I lead by 9. It would be nice to play off more tiles. There's pretty much nothing I'd like to keep from this rack apart from the E and S. But finding plays with D, D, F, G and M is a struggle. Okay, wow, 51 points. Nice score for opponent. And opponent has taken the very spot I was eyeing. But let me have a look at Fed in this spot. 32 points, it's okay. And I can't do any better. I am setting up a nice spot in column 12, so what about doing this? Instead, same score. Well, Def takes I, O, and T and Y, so I'm setting up a hotspot in row H. So I think this is better. Is there anything even better? I have Phi for 27. 25 for Def and Phi, so I think this is best. An opponent may have a big play there that I'm taking out. Still one vowel. I would have vagrom through an A. And not many floating vowels on the board. I have dev in column 10. Now my O can go next to the F, so do I have a longer play in column 10? And I would like to play off the V, so I don't think I do. Not seeing anything, well, nothing in column 12. I have no vowel for going to the right of the F, so loads of hotspots on the board, and pretty much none of them available for me to benefit from. I have grove in column 4, which sorts the rack out quite nicely, and groved I think is good with a D. That's pretty good, leaving MS. I could draw 5 nice tiles, and bingo, just 10 points between us, opponent on turn. So is opponent again going to play in the very spot I have in mind? I do not have an alternative bingo. S doesn't take much after it, which limits the usefulness of row F. V is good. Oh wow, I have gov and V. That might be quite nice if groved is blocked, or even if it isn't. 36 points for gov, playing off just the G, just the V, and the rack leaf of droms plays reasonably well if I draw a vowel. The danger is drawing 2 consonants. Now, opponent taking a while with their play. A bingo would be pretty brutal, especially if it's a row O1. But as it stands, just 10 points between us. So what would groved score? 26. So a lot less than gov. 8-point difference. And grove provides access. Well, that sorted that out. 52 points for opponent. Took a while. Opponent may have been wondering about placing a Z in row A, but I can't do anything with that. What I can do is gov for 35. And I draw 2 consonants, which was the danger, and they're 2 big tiles. Now, oh wow, I was going to say I have ox, where opponent has played chi, but that wouldn't have played because OT not good. So this isn't going well. I trail by 90. I've got a very non-bingo-y rack. What to do? Can't play onto the Z. Not much goes in front of IO and nothing that I've got. JEUX is good. That doesn't play anywhere. Still no vowel for column 12. Otherwise that would have been a nice X spot. So, do I have Sorex here, 37 points, burning the S. So this would be 30. I think this is better, hanging on to the S. Yeah, this isn't a terrible rack leave, and 30 points is always handy. And I'm not saying anything better. I'm going with this. And I draw another vowel, which is good. but it's not a vowel which can go to the right of the F. I have jeered on my rack. Wow, I still don't have anything which hits the Z, or nothing I've seen. I've got J-O-U-R, which at least gets the J tripled. Dex takes a Y, still 2 Ys to come. From an E, I would have edgy dough. Through an S, I would have jism. I do have jism as a 4-letter play. Oh wow, and that plays in row O. That could be critical. That's going to score well. It's going to take out a spot where opponent might score well. And it's going to draw me a lot closer to opponent. But what's opponent going to do? Because there are several high scoring spots on the board. There's row A, there's column 12, there's row O. But jism in row O, fantastic if it stays available. And I'm not seeing anywhere else for it to score anything like as well. Surely opponent, having played the Z, must have in mind using it or denying my use of it. But what if opponent blocks row O? Painful as that would be. Jur in row B is a very humble score, less than 30. Fantastic. Wow, nice spot by opponent, 45 points. But let's see what this scores. 57 points, and I'm preserving my vowel. Is this, well, just before I play this, can I do any better? Because I've got diz and mis as a prefix. No, not seeing anything better than this. I'm going with this. Wow, and I draw a ton of vowels, of course. I have re-oiled on my rack. Does that play anywhere? Don't think it does. Boilered, not good. So, where are the lanes and the floaters on this board? Not terribly many. There's the L. Not seeing anything with that. What about the M? No, not seeing anything with that. How about the R? Could end I-E-R or L-I-E-R. No. Okay, so opponent does take out the Z. Nothing goes in front of Toad. And opponent leads by a bingo. Confab takes an S. Nothing goes after N apart from S. So column 12 looks like a useful place to play and a way of creating a new lane. So I can do this. Dial for 27 and then Delt takes hooks. What a shame about there not being anywhere for re-oiled. That would have been a nice bingo to have. Let me momentarily put this back on my rack. I haven't considered N and B. Not seeing anything. Fed-I words, not many of those. Yeah, I think I have considered everything. Is there a way of playing off the O rather than the I? Don't think so. So this is what I'm looking at. Die L for 27. Yep, I am going with this. And I was just eyeing up the fact that there were 3 O's to come. Fortunately, I dodged all of them. Rack becomes a little less bingo-y. I trail by 37, opponent on turn. What do I have here? Now, I'm sure I mentioned Y spots or H spots earlier. Have they all been taken? Ah, it was Dexy, wasn't it? And, well, I would need an I for Yearth, and that wouldn't have scored very much. Faye does take an S, so opponent hasn't extinguished the lanes, the lane I created. 30 points, opponent continuing to score well. Now, Oi takes a number of front hooks, including the H. Not seeing anything there. R is quite a useful floater, bingo-y floater in column 1, so I want to leave that alone. 9 minutes on my clock. So apart from Hoy, I've got Toy, DT, DH, not seeing anything which works there. So what about Dexy? And I'd quite like to split up the duplicate R. How to do that? Wow, not easy. And not a massive score either. So what I'm not seeing is anything beginning with HY, apart from this, and this rack leave isn't good. And I'm creating a hotspot, albeit one which would generate floaters. What about plays beginning RY? So I have Riot, and her is not a bad rack leave. Riot only 23 points, and I'm setting up this spot, which I can probably use myself if opponent doesn't. Opponent may be reluctant to create new bingo lanes. The T above the double letter square stops the big tile being placed there, and not many big tiles to come. 23 points is lowly. So, can I do any better? RHY is good. Does that play anywhere? Don't think it does. Now, what about a play in row N? Can I get my Y tripled? I don't think so, because that would begin OL. So, what to do? 6 minutes on my clock, 20 tiles to come, board getting a bit tight. I think I will play here. I don't think opponent's going to like seeing this unless they've got a playable bingo. Riot for 23. Well, no bingo. Quite a nice rack though. Gosh, close to a bingo. Double A rather than double E. I would have birthage. So, do I really not have one? I have the AGE ending, but heart with that. Not suggesting anything. So, do I have any DH plays in row A? Don't think I do. But I do have a scoring tile in the H, so I have heart in row H. Okay, so 37 points for opponents. I trail by 80, which is a bingo. The board is open. Is chartage good? I don't think it is. However, it's void challenge, so I can check. Not good. Okay. So, what to do? I do have hag. How mad is this? Rate is a really good 4-letter set. Goes well with B, L, and R. I have an E for the AGE ending. This is 27 points. And it's burning precisely the tiles I want to burn. But can I do any better? Let me count the remaining vowels. 8 out of 18. £31 points, leaving this A alone. Only one R and one T to come, so the rack lever rate was pretty good. 27 points. Is this the play? 349. I would trail by 54. If opponent's got a W or a B, this is such an easy 30 or 40 point play. I was about to try drag, but Roy not good. What about doing this? Ag 18 points, keeping heart, which goes really well with the C. Leaves these floaters alone. I don't wish to expedite the end of the game, and this doesn't offer anything for opponent, so although the score is a lot less, this play does have its attractions. Yeah, I am going with this. Okay, so do I have a bingo? U is non-bingo-y. Onto an I would have thesauri. I have Arethusa in column 15. Wow, will that stay available? So, do I have an alternative bingo? An opponent? Well, opponent is maybe hampered. Oh, let me just stop rambling, because opponent has played, Arethusa remains available, and if I play it at the bottom, I get the H doubled. This is a 95 point play, 435. I'm going to trail by 6, and I'm going to draw the final 4 tiles, and they include the blank. So I can see what opponents got. Are they going to bingo? Can they outrun me? Only 1 point tiles. This could be close. But if opponent bingos, it's definitely game over. So 3 minutes on my clock, not much. Where can my H score well? Well, the E of Arethusa. But I do need to go out. Opponent's created row O. So I have OHED for 19 points. But do I have an out in column 14? I'm not going to have much time. Not sure I do. I think it would begin with an H. H-E. Something out. No, I don't have anything there. Do I have anything at the top? Because Hoy is good. Not seeing anything. Now 7 minutes on opponent's clock. Hopefully they will use those minutes. I don't have anything in column 14. I would need 2 S's. I certainly can go out. I've got hose, ope, and is Tars good? I don't think so. But I have ode at the bottom. I have hose and bluets. Wow. Opponent, that is surely going to be enough if opponent doesn't go out. I have bow here for a very low score. Now my H, what about a 4-letter play ending in H? Not seeing any. But hose in column 8 is massive. Opponent has taken out the confab's hook. Now, what about CH? Do I have a play ending H something R. Don't think so. I do have chaw. Wow, this is going to be a lot closer than I thought. Now, opponents play 21 points. I trail to 3 minutes on my clock. I trail by 27. Surely, surely, surely. 41 points, 470. This is going to do the job. Bang! Fantastic. And the final score, 462 for opponent, 482 for me, a winning margin of 20 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Wow, what a game. I was not expecting to win that at all. So, here we go. Oh my word, look at this. This was opponent's opening rack, and they have weak-ons, which they didn't see. Played Awoken, and now my rack, and no bingo here. I play Uneven for 14, so it looks like it's a lot less than Benny, but keeping U and V together is awful. Yeah, I like my play. I think there are big problems with all of these rack leaves. No bingo here. Opponent plays Q. And I have Confab for 34. Fabric also a playable. Another way of burning off all of the big tiles. J5. Wow, Fabric and FE. But Confab scores most. So opponent was struggling with lots of vowels. And does find a bingo. Could also have played Boiserie and Ebionize. So I trail. But I have Rational for 70. Well, I also had B10 Oriental through the E. Yeah, various bingos through this E, but they don't score as much as Rational, and Rational creates a second hotspot. Wow, look at this rack for opponent. No G for Gazumped. Plays Mud Pie for 51. D6. Could have played Moz and Z. Okay, now I trail and I begin a series of racks where I have only one vowel, which contributed to my lack of belief that I was going to get anything out of this game. So I play Fed, and for 32, I could have played Doff for 35. Interesting. The E is obviously helpful when you've got 4 consonants and it scores more. But how dangerous is this spot? Well, I think it's a beginner's error to overestimate the dangers of the board. And there were 2 hotspots on the board, so possibly Doff would have been a better play. Now, opponent with Zingari, nowhere for it. Plays Zinger for 52. Could have got 68 for Agnize. Wow, 6-tile overlap or 5-tile overlap. 6-tile overlap, but difficult to see. So here I am struggling with vowels. Good grief, 40 for Vroom. I played Gov for 35, which I was pleased with. B6. Wow, same spot. Vroom for 40 points. 5-point difference in score, but Gov keeps the O. I think there's very little between these plays, but it would at least have been nice to have seen Vroom. So I trail by only 30. However, opponent has this 60-point Q bomb, and suddenly I'm down by 80, and things are not looking good. I haven't drawn vowels. I played Dex for 30, C11, Fjord playable, opening column 15. Dex for 30. Yeah, I think keeping the J with the O has merit. Only 2 points between those. I think Dex is fine. Missed bingo. Opponent plays Reawoken for 45, but amaretto through the M, available for 61. So I now trail by over 100. But I have Jism for 57, which gave me some hoop. Opponent's rack. Plays Toad. And now I have re-oiled, and I trail by 60, and re-oiled was just what I needed to draw level, but I couldn't see anywhere for it, and there is nowhere. So I played Dial for 27 and still continue to trail. Opponent plays Oi, and this was a tricky rack. I struggled to see anything great. Height and Dexy keeping duplicate R. I play Riot for 23. Duplicate R isn't terrible, and there's only one to come. But duplicate R definitely benefits from an E, and I don't have one. So I don't think Riot is terrible. EHR has got potential even without a bingo. And I'm only 40 behind. So opponent plays Pacta. I play Ag for 18. I was really tempted with plays in row I, which all of these are, but they take out bingo lanes, and I felt I needed a bingo to win. Now, fateful moment. Opponent plays Bluet for 38 points, and I have this rack. And I play Arethusa for 95. Fortunately, I took a moment because I had first identified it as playing at the top of column 15, but 9 more points available at the bottom, and it was the only playable bingo word. So here we go. I now trail by 6. Opponents on turn. Could they have won? Well, I don't think so. Certainly no bingo. Opponent plays Soil for 21, and finally I have Hose for 41. Supposing opponent had played in row O, denying my Hose, what else was available? I11. Wow, there was an out onto this R. E4. I looked in that spot, I didn't see it, so not confident I would have seen it. And beyond that, everything is lowly scoring. So it's possible if opponent had blocked Hose and I'd missed E4, it's possible that opponent would have won. However, that's not what happened. I did get Hose down, and I did win by 20 points with both of us over 450. So super high scoring game and very close, and wow, what an ending. Arethusa for 95. Absolutely amazing stuff. Brought me right back into the game. So absolutely fantastic stuff. It is just about the beginning of the month still. So every month at the beginning of the month, lots of brand new videos go up on Patreon. Many thanks to everyone who's on Patreon. They support the channel, you support the channel, and welcome to the new joiners this month. I hope you enjoy all of the video content. There's a whole bunch of Scrabble videos and crossword videos and a huge back catalogue of those videos to look at. And certainly this month there's a fantastic battle with Hastybot. There's also Blitz Scrabble games. There's the Mephisto crossword, as always, and some quick crosswords. So plenty of different videos and a mixture of crossword and Scrabble content. So do consider joining if you're not already a member of Patreon, and the link is directly below this video. But back to this game, absolutely amazing stuff. Really demonstrates the excitement of the game of Scrabble and why it is such an amazing game. So many thanks to opponent for a fantastic battle. I hope you enjoyed watching that game. Like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you next time.